Hello students, welcome to Vidya Bal Bhavan session of class 11 English. Before starting the today's topic, I would like to give you the intro just to give you the idea that what we are going to talk about today. So let's start with that. No matter who you are or where you came from, we all have to overcome adversity. Adversity means the difficult situation. If we talk about success is not determined by how skilled you are in avoiding challenges, but how you let it mold once you face them. So we can say here the difficult situations are like the teacher which teaches us how to overcome the problems. As we know, nowadays we all are facing the problem of COVID-19, but it's up to us how we are going to take this problem or how we are going to tackle the difficult situation. So each one of you now just think about that. Will you let adversity break your willpower or use it to strengthen your confidence and skills? Quickly, each and everyone think over it and let me know. If any kind of adverse situation is there, so you people are going to overcome that with the help of your willpower, or you are going to lose your confidence. Sometimes the boost you need can come from your attitude and your surroundings too. Whatever the difficult situation it is, but with the help of your willpower and your strength, your inner strength, the strength of your mind definitely can help you out to overcome that problem. Same way, adversity can make you stronger if you let it. Here I have taken one quote that ships don't sink because of the water around them. Ships sink because of the water that's get in them. Recently in news also you might have come across the different news that how the person was not able to overcome the problem or to come out from the difficult situation in his life and everything was over. But this is the time when you have to gather all your inner strength. You have to stand again to face any kind of difficult situation, because your life is very beautiful, and if so easily you are letting it go, so that will be the biggest fault on your part. So love your life and face any kind of situation. As we know that time is not going to be stagnant, and definitely it will change. So with this I am going to introduce today's topic, that is chapter 2 from your textbook Hornbill. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together, written by Gordon Cook and Ellen East. Gordon Cook, if we talk about, he was two-time Canadian Olympic sailor, and he had great interest in writing too. Whereas Ellen East, if we talk about, he was the author of several historical mysteries. Before starting the chapter, I would like to introduce the characters first. Everyone just write down the characters, the different characters that are given in this chapter in your, you have to write it down, you have to note it down in your textbook only. Quickly, each and everyone take out the pencil and note it down in your textbook. With pencil only you have to note it down. Yes, the first one is narrator, a captain of the ship, then Mary, wife of a narrator, Jonathan, a 6-year-old son of the narrator, Suzanne, 7-year-old daughter of the narrator, Larry Vigil, American crewman hired from Cape Town, and Herb Segler, Swiss crewman hired from Cape Town only. So these are the main characters of the story. If we talk about the theme of the story, it is how optimism, determination and a strong willpower raise one's spirits and help us to overcome all forms of stressful situations. Note down everyone, at the top of your textbook only, where in NCERT textbook where the space is given, note down with the pencil. The theme is that how optimism, determination and strong willpower can help one out to overcome all kind of stressful situations or the adverse or the difficult situation in life. Now the main plot of the story we are starting with. Narrator Gordon Cook and his wife Mary and their children Jonathan and Suzanne set sail on a ship to imitate the historical round the world voyage undertaken by James Cook in 1768. So you can see here the narrator along with his wife and the children, they decided to go for the voyage undertaken by, he just trying to imitate the same kind of sail as it was done by James Cook in 1768. It is expected to journey to Australia through the endless Indian Ocean and finally returned to England. So they decided to start their journey from England and finally coming back to the same place. But unfortunately, the ship partially wrecked in Indian Ocean and sailor faced death very close. So the whole story we talk about is going to revolve around the same, that in that difficult situation, what was the mindset of the narrator, how they overcome in this difficult or the adverse situation when they were very close to the death. Now everyone open up the textbook, chapter 2. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. The title of the story is very optimistic one, that we should not afraid to die if we all are going to be together. And this title, if we talk about, this phrase can be used in any situation, even the current situation. If we talk about the current situation of COVID-19, if we are going to face it, if you know that warriors are there, those who are taking care of us, our doctors, our soldiers, they are the one, those who are taking care of us. So in that situation, if they are not afraid to die, when we all are standing together with them, so it doesn't mean that they are very eager to accept the death. No, it shows that the courage, that the optimistic approach that we are going to talk about in this chapter. So we have already talked about, the story is written by Gordon Cook and Ellen East. Everyone keep the pencil in your hand. Wherever I will ask you to mark, you have to mark it and go through the story carefully. I am doing the reading and I am explaining you, but you all have to read it again. You all have to go through each line and each word, you have to mark it, and then you have to get the meaning of that. So let's start with it. In the beginning of the chapter, few expressions are given in your text and you have to infer their meaning from the context. From the context only you will go through it. Firstly, you will read it out and when will start with the chapter, in between you have to find it out and you have to get the meaning of these phrases or the expressions. So the first one is honing our seafaring skills. Just write down the meaning of that. Honing, if we talk about, it means to sharpen, and seafaring, if we talk about, it is regular travel by sea, means the one who is regularly traveling by the sea, they used to call it as a seafaring. Then the second one is ominous silence, it means the unpleasant silent. Mayday calls, write down firstly ominous, it means unpleasant. Mayday calls, write down the meaning of mayday, write it down, it is the international radio distress signal which is used by international radio distress signal used by ships and aircrafts. Then the fourth one is pinpricks in the vast ocean. It means pinprick means pricking by pin. You might have seen a balloon you are doing sometime during the birthday, or when you are just putting the pin in that, so pricking the balloon with pin. So here pinprick in vast ocean. We are going to check out what is the meaning of these expression in text. And the next one is a tousled head. Tousled mean here, it means like untidy. Write it down, write down the meaning, untidy. Now I am starting with the reading of the chapter. Everyone will listen carefully. You have to mark wherever I am asking you to, and need to write down the meaning. In July 1976, my wife Mary, son Jonathan, age is written 6 year, and daughter Suzanne 7 year, and I sailed from Plymouth, England, the name of the place there, to duplicate the round the world voyage made 200 years earlier by Captain James Cook. Please mark it, 200 years earlier by Captain James Cook, mark it. So as I told you, James Cook did the same kind of sea voyage in the year 1768, and now who is going to intimate? The narrator of the story. For the longest time, Mary and I, a 37-year-old businessman, please mark it, the narrator is telling about himself that he is around 37-year-old and he is a businessman, had dreamt of sailing in the wake of the famous explorer, and for the past 16 years we had spent all our leisure time honing our seafaring skills in British water. So here he is mentioning that it was like his dream come true, because he along with his wife spent their past 16 years for the same, just in sharpening their skills to travel in sea. Our boat, please mark it, what was the name of the boat? Exactly, Wave Walker. Here the characteristic of Wave Walker, their boat has been given here, and all of you need to understand it because the questions based on that can be given. So please mark it and write it down, important. The name of the boat, Wave Walker, and the description is given. A 23-meter 30-ton wooden hulled beauty had been professionally built, and we had spent months fitting it out and testing it in the roughest weather we could find. So all the testing they have done just to check it out whether their boat is going to face the difficult situation or not. The first leg of our planned 3-year 105,000 kilometer journey passed pleasantly as we sailed down the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. Underline it. So, their first planned journey was of 3 years that covered 105,000 kilometers, and that was from the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. There, before heading east, we took on 2 crewmen. Underline everyone, I hope you remember that already I have given the name of these, the intro of these characters in the beginning of the chapter before starting the chapter. So, mark it: American, Larry Vigil, Answers, Herb Ziegler. To help us tackle one of the world's roughest seas, the Southern Indian Ocean. So, now I hope all of you are going to relate here, because we know that Indian Ocean is the part of our country. So, some relation you can feel here through this story. On our second day out of Cape Town, we began to encounter strong gales. Underline the term gales and write down the meaning of gales. The strong wind that we can feel in sea. For the next few weeks they blew continuously. Gales did not worry me, but the size of the waves was alarming, up to 15 meters, as high as our own main mast. Underline the term mast here. It means the tall upright pole on the ship, on which you might have seen the cloth is also tied with. December 25 found us 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town. Despite atrocious weather, means very horrifying. Underline atrocious and write it down: horrifying weather. We had a wonderful holiday, complete with a Christmas tree. The significance of December 25, all of you are very well aware about. New Year's Day saw no improvement in the weather, but we reasoned that it had to change soon. So, we can see the weather was not good, but the narrator was thinking that soon it is going to improve. And finally it changed. It did change, but for the worse. It became more horrifying. At dawn on January 2, the waves were gigantic. Gigantic here means, underline it, very huge. We were sailing with only a small storm jib and were still making 8 knots. Jib here means, underline the term jib. It means, you might have seen a triangular flag on a ship that is attached with that mast. So, 8 knots were there on that. As the ship rose to the top of each wave, we could see endless, enormous sea rolling towards us, and the screaming of the wind and spray was painful to the ears. Underline these lines and you can understand the horrifying situation. To slow the boat down, we dropped the storm jib and lashed a heavy mooring rope in a loop across the stern. And if we talk about, this was just done to make the rope tightly so that they can save themselves from such kind of strong wind. Here above that you can see the screaming of the wind. Underline it. Which literary device has been used here? Screaming of the wind. You can see that wind, non-living, and it has been compared, it has been presented as the living being, screaming. So, that is the personification. Please mark it and write down personification. Then we double lashed everything, went through our life raft drill, attached lifelines, doomed oilskins and life jackets, and waited. Now you can see that all were ready for any kind of difficult situation. They keep everything ready with them because they don't know when it was required, because the condition was like that they could not take any kind of risk. So they arranged all the things beforehand to face any kind of difficult situation here. The first indication of the impending disaster came at about 6 p.m. Please underline it. At what time they got the first indication of the disaster, the difficult situation? That was about around 6 p.m. in the evening, with an ominous silence. Ominous means here unpleasant. The wind dropped and the sky immediately grew dark. Please mark it. Then came a growing roar and an enormous cloud towered aft of the ship. Suddenly, when they all were standing and waiting for any kind of situation, what he saw, a large cloud at the top of the ship. With horror, I realized that it was not a cloud but a wave like no other I had ever seen. Mark it, everyone. Any idea what it was? Any of you quickly? Just try to get it, that what it could be. Exactly. It appeared perfectly vertical and almost twice the but a wave like no other I had ever seen. It appeared perfectly vertical and almost twice the height of the other waves, with a frightful breaking crest, and it was nothing but the very high wave, and it was almost twice the height of the other waves they have seen. The roar increased to a thunder as the stern moved up the face of the wave. The noise here was increasing as the stern moved, the stern that they have tied with the mast. It moved towards the face of the wave only, and for a moment I thought we might ride over it, but then a tremendous explosion shook the deck of the ship. A torrent of green and white water broke over the ship. My head smashed into the wheel and I was aware of flying overboard and sinking below the waves. You can see here that they all were very well prepared, that if something will happen, they all were having their life jackets and all, but it did not took a moment to bring this situation or then bring this moment. I accepted my approaching death, and as I was losing consciousness I felt quite peaceful. Please mark it. When this happened, what was the condition of the narrator? He readily accepted the approaching death. He thought that it is going to be the end of his life, and as he was losing his consciousness, so he was feeling very peaceful. He felt quite peaceful. Please mark it. Here you can see the two contradictory phrases has been used here. On one side the narrator was very well aware about the death, but on the other hand what he was feeling very peaceful. Unexpectedly my head popped out of the water. Please mark it. He was not at all ready for this kind of wonder. A few meters away, wave walker. What was the wave walker? I hope all of you remember. Their ship was near capsizing her mast almost horizontal. Capsizing here means to overturn. Everyone underline and write it down, to overturn. Then a wave hurled her upright. My lifeline jerked taut. I grabbed the guard's rails and sailed through the air into Wave Walker's main boom. In this line, her refers to, underline, her refers to Wave Walker. Then a wave hurled her upright, my lifeline jerked taut, and he simply thought that it is going to be the end of his life. I grabbed the guard rails and sailed through the air into Wave Walker's main boom. Suddenly the sound, boom here means the sound of that ship was very loud. Subsequent waves tossed me around the deck like a rag doll. Rag doll, you must be knowing the doll made up of cloth. So he was just moving like in the same manner because of those waves. My left ribs cracked. Please underline it. My mouth filled with blood and broken teeth. You can see what kind of condition it was. Somehow I found the wheel, lined up the stern for the next wave and hung on. But anyhow he managed to stuck in that, and he was waiting for the another moment that was supposed to come. And in next part we are going to find that what happened next. So for today just mark here, and in the next class we are going to continue from this next para, water water everywhere. Underline it, just write down today's date, that up till by today you have finished your chapter till here, and each and everyone will go through the chapter that we have finished as well as the next part of that, so that you are easily able to understand it. And one more suggestion, that try to underline the difficult words and write it down, write down the meaning of these words here. Clear? So I hope all of you have understood the chapter, and I hope you people are taking interest in that, because that is very interesting story, that which is binding you to know that what's going to be next and what was the end of the story. But before that I want all of you to go through the chapter thoroughly, write the meaning and learn those meanings, underline the important statements or the lines given in this chapter, and in our next video going to continue with the same chapter. By the time, take care all of you. Thank you.